So we quit RV life.
We did.
We quit RV life. So we're going to give you guys, and for all the listeners out there, we're going to give everyone like a quick recap on how we ended up here, how we quit RV life.
Yeah,
so
for anyone who follows us, if you're surprised, we're just as surprised.
I'm surprised still.
Like honestly, a couple months ago, this wasn't even really on the table.
No.
And then here we are, no RV,
No truck.
podcast studio.
Oh my
in
goodness.
our bedroom. This is still our bedroom.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. We're not in a giant place.
So just, I guess, quick recap. For the last 2 years, we've
Yeah.
been traveling and living in an RV full time. You and I with our 2 kids and our Australian Shepherd puppy. We've been to 22 states, and we have totally adopted the nomadic lifestyle, and it truly has changed our lives.
Yeah.
But here we are, have now quit it. We sold our RV, like we said, sold our truck.
I mean, if there's one thing we've learned from our adventures is that we got to trust our gut, right?
Always.
And we jumped into RV living
Quickly.
just as quick. We decided, let's just give it a go. Let's give it a whirl. And it's been great.
Amazing.
2 years flew by, and if there's one thing I thought we were certain of is that we found our way of living. We found the way to do it. Let's keep rolling. Let's be super mobile, and let's live in an RV like probably forever.
And I think I swore off ever living in a house ever
did.
again. I said I would never, ever do it.
100%. I never thought you were going to jump back on board with this.
I wasn't. But it was because I was totally still connecting the thought of living in a house with us not traveling. But we have now obviously found that we can continue to travel while just living more comfortably and with more space. So
Yeah. It's been a journey. Like when we first started, it was all about moving, it was a cool feeling to be able to move once a week or every 2 weeks. And it's like, let's go here, let's go there. Like that list is huge of places we've never been and places we want to go, campsites we want to visit. And we started making friends. So it was super fun. It was like, hey, where are you going next? I'm going here, I'm going there. But yeah.
Yeah. So I think we just want to share with everybody, like,
Where did it turn?
where did it turn?
Yeah.
Where did it turn? I mean, I guess that's the thing. I don't even know. It really wasn't like one big, huge thing. It was a gut feeling that you and I both had, which again, we said happened quickly. And I think it was like August of this year, not even an inkling in sight of ever leaving RV life. And then October 30th, driving away from it.
Right. But I think probably the transition, or at least the mindset change, probably happened when we stopped and did which was just this past winter, right?
Just this past winter.
Yeah. Where we stopped for a few months so you can do a nursing job. And at the time we were like ready for a break. And I guess we didn't realize how much we enjoyed staying still for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
I know I needed it for sure at the time.
It's the non-commitment with still the exploration of travel, getting to know where you're visiting, but then knowing that your time is going to end quickly and there's going to be a new place to go see. But that doesn't have to be with your home behind you and moving every 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah.
What we have now adopted is traveling seasonally and staying somewhere for at least 12 weeks before moving to the next place, which then opens us up to more possibilities of the living situation. Because right now we're renting a fully furnished, beautiful home.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of when I think it was out. So it was last winter we decided to sit still for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And
we even extended it.
Yeah. So
it was only supposed to be 13 weeks and we made it 17.
And then we thought we were ready to get back out on the road. And
we were.
We were excited.
For sure we were.
Got back to moving again. And I think after the first place, it was like, oh, we got to move again. It's only been a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
And then we found a place to stay for summer. Mm-hmm. So sitting still for summer, I think we both realized I do like staying still.
For a season.
Yeah.
I really do. Like you said, I love that when we talk about where do you want to spend winter? Where do you want to spend summer?
Yeah, we were in
Where
that
do you want to spend
so
spring?
regardless of being in an RV or not, we were in that mode of let's find
let's find the place.
A place to stay
now.
And we kind of knew, in all the travels that we've done, I think we've figured out the areas that we like. Mm-hmm. So that bucket list of places to go and see are kind of small right now.
Yeah.
if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think getting in that mindset of let's just travel with the seasons, then it turned into, should we even be in an RV anymore? Is it really serving us to stay in a super mobile situation when we're going to only be traveling every few months?
Yeah. And then do you know what like removing ourselves from RV life really did for us as well, which I guess I wasn't totally expecting to happen, but we became more of a minimalist than we ever have been or ever were with RV life, which was a huge aspect, I think, from the beginning that we both were really attracted to about like RV life is just experiences, not things. And so leaving behind the RV meant also leaving behind all the RV gadgets and gizmos and accessories and all the things that are required for RV life. But then that even motivated us even further that like everything needs to fit in the back of a truck or some form of small space for us to be able to take it, to still be able to travel like we are. And so we made it to where a family of four's entire possessions fit inside 8 totes and 6 backpacks.
It all fit in the truck.
It all fit in the truck.
We left our RV right where it was, sold it, obviously. And yeah, all of our personal stuff was one truck's worth.
Yeah. And now we're living in
and that felt good. It
a
felt
much
even
larger
more freeing.
space. We're living in a much larger space and without the desire to fill up the space with stuff because we know we're here temporarily.
Right. So as long as the place is furnished, we can fit right in.
Like no worries. So
that's where we are.
That's where we are. So now that we have quit RV life and have the perspective and the experiences of a family who lived in an RV for 2 years full time, let's share with everybody our top 3 highlights from RV life and our top 3 worst experiences from RV life. Okay. I think we've narrowed it down, right? We agree on our top 3 highlights and our top 3 worst experiences.
It's hard to even, man, it's so much happened and we did so much. It's hard to narrow it down, but yeah, there's definitely some highlights.
Okay. So highlight number 1.
Yeah.
Stargazing.
Yes. We're talking about the same.
At the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah.
One of the few times we got to boondock for a few days, right? It's right on the border of what? The Utah-Nevada border?
I honestly don't know that.
That's where it is. Yeah, this really cool off the beaten path area that's just pitch black at night. Mm-hmm. And we were out there. What time of year was that? It was,
I want to say it was, wait, hang on. Yeah, I want to say it was like, okay. It was end of September.
Okay.
The very end of September.
So yeah, the weather-wise was still nice.
It was perfect to where, once the sun set and you walked outside, it was like weather doesn't exist. It was just so comfortable being outside.
Yeah, just not at an RV park. You know, those are the moments where it's like, yeah, this is why we're doing what we're doing. Like, this is so cool, just being able to be out in the pitch black, middle of nowhere desert with everything you own, your whole family, and just sit outside and watch the stars.
And it really felt like the entire universe was just presenting itself for us. Is like what that night felt like, is that we just got to experience, I don't know, everything that night. And as a family, and everyone was just like, just as jazzed as the next person. And we brought all of our blankets and pillows from inside to outside and just laid down in the middle of the desert. Couldn't see anything, but we just didn't care. We didn't care.
Yeah.
And we were up until like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. We stayed up all night watching the stars.
The boys were super into it.
Yeah.
You know, Forrest was out there with us.
Yeah.
Laying in the dirt, basically.
So that was definitely highlight number 1. And then I think highlight number 2 comes in with the first time we went to Yosemite.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's got to be our favorite place, right?
It's definitely the most returned to place that we ever went to in our 2 years of RV travel. Yeah. But I think the big reason why that ended up on the highlight was because that was the first time, our first time visiting Yosemite was also the first time we had stayed 2 weeks somewhere in our travels.
A long time.
Prior to that, we had really been hopping around a few days to like a week here, a week there. And so Yosemite was the first time we settled down for 2 weeks and the first time we got to experience what Yosemite is, which is just angelic.
that's one of those cool places where it's like, I'm so glad we get to live in this spot where that Thousand Trails, Yosemite Lakes,
Right on the river.
Just such a nice setting. So it's like, I don't want to be here for just a day or two. I can live here for
I want
to
call this home for a little while.
So that was always a good place to go back to. Yeah.
And that was the first time we went. We celebrated my birthday. And so it was just like, to me, springtime now always says Yosemite, always says just my birthday and time for celebration. And again, I think it just planted that seed that we really wanted to started adopting slower traveling, which brings us to highlight number 3, which is Leavenworth. And that was the first time we had stayed 3 weeks somewhere.
Right. Yeah, Leavenworth was really cool.
Amazing.
That's a cute little town.
Yeah, so I think that ended up on the highlight, being in Leavenworth, just because we really felt like we lived there for a while. It was like, man, we've lived here for like a month, living up in the little mountains outside of this cute little Bavarian town. I got to go out and hike Lake Kolchak, which is my favorite hike still to this day.
That's when you did barefoot, right? Or not barefoot, but
I hiked it in my Earth Runners.
Your sandals, yeah.
It was an 8-mile, like super. It was what were my like? It was like pretty difficult.
It was a rocky
skill
situation.
level. It was like, yeah, you really utilize your leg muscles on that hike. But I did it all in Earth Runners.
You did,
and it's still my favorite hike to date. But again, I think Leavenworth was on the top 3 because we really got to enjoy it for as long as we did. And together as a family again. It's always the times when we were like away from the crowds is I think when we had the best times.
Yeah, and that was the vibe for a while, was let's go get lost somewhere, for as long as possible.
Wander but never lost.
Exactly.
So, not to bring it down or anything or be dramatic, but are you ready to share our worst 3 experiences over the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Worst experience. Number 1, what tops it all?
Well, what would you say?
COVID.
Oh, getting COVID. The worst possible time.
When we got COVID as brand new RVers.
Got that Rona.
In the middle of winter.
Yeah, oh man, it was the worst time. It was right when we just got our 5th wheel and we didn't have our truck yet.
We were literally just stranded.
And we were going to move for the first time from one place to across town to the other place that we were going to stay for the rest of winter. Mm-hmm. And we had to hire somebody to come and
tow us. Yeah.
And I'm like super nervous because I've never, I barely know how to do any of this stuff. So I'm trying to get the RV packed up. So we know this guy's coming in a couple of days. And it was like, I think it was the day that the guy had to move us. I felt like complete death.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we figured out like, oh yeah, you're like really sick.
Yeah.
So I just felt terrible. You had to go to work. So I had the boys with me and like, I'm trying so hard just to seem like I'm a normal human when this guy showed up to tow us.
To tow our home for like the first time ever.
Oh my gosh.
So then over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like,
so we moved to this beautiful place.
That.
Like but the weather just like completely changed on us. It got so gray, so cold. And we moved and we got set up, but I was just so sick for the next 2 solid weeks. Mm-hmm. And then you got it too.
And then I got it. And then it was just literally misery in Missouri, depression for the next however many weeks. And I remember just like, because it just felt like RV life was just that much harder then. Like, on top of everything else. And it really made you sit there and ask yourself, like, what did we actually just do?
What are we doing?
That's just when it felt, I don't know, it felt hopeless for a while. So I would definitely say that that's like the worst experience that we ever had. But I'm so glad that it happened early on, because then I think it really gave us the resilience to keep going and like to continue to keep going even now,
Yeah, battling that first winter.
Yeah.
After getting sick, definitely a learning experience for us.
Yeah, that was, talk about just a test of your character, a test of your life decisions, a test of like everything. You and I were just faced with like everything from the get-go.
Yeah, It's so freaking cold.
Ice.
December in Missouri.
And then in an RV.
In an RV, it's like, oh my gosh, like I had no idea how cold these things can get. Messing with propane for the first time, trying to run the heater.
Learning everything for the first time.
I just put propane in here. I just filled up all these tanks, and it's like 2 days later, they're empty, and it's like, I got to go get more propane. I was doing it like 3 times a week.
Just to stay warm and to like cook food.
And in my head, I'm thinking like, how does anyone do this? And I didn't, you realize you probably shouldn't be living in an RV in Missouri in the middle of winter.
Exactly.
That's the first red flag.
Mistake number 1.
But we didn't know anything. Like,
so naive, such newbies. I mean, again, we jumped into RV life and we were just out there living in it and living in our choices. Yep. But again, it was all good. It all ended up like in our favor. But hands down, gonna go down as like the worst experience ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, our first experience RVing was our worst. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it did get better from there.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Number 2 worst experience. I think it was that damn bumper.
Yeah.
So grouping just like a bunch of bad situations into like this number 2 slot, you know?
Our bumper.
What do you want to say about our bumper?
I'm glad it's gone.
Yeah.
No, so our fifth wheel that we bought, basically the shape of our RV, it has a very low bumper in the back. I don't know.
Low rider.
Yeah, it's a low rider. So and we noticed very early on that at least once or twice during a travel day, it's going to bottom out on almost every driveway you go through, some campsites.
Accompanied by a very loud,
I don't know if you
nails on a chalkboard.
If you know the sound of a bumper scraping on asphalt, it doesn't sound pretty.
The worst, and can be heard from like what seems like miles and miles away.
Yeah, so that was a nightmare. That just added so much stress to moving that thing as often as we did, trying not to scrape that bumper. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so before we move on to like our third worst experience, like what about that? Like what we got to basically remove from our life by quitting RV life, which was like a huge stressor on specifically you, for being like the one that really took over the responsibility of towing our home and moving our entire life, like every few days, every couple of weeks. So how does it feel? I don't know. How do you feel about that from being somebody who had that experience, and was it worth it? Would you do it again? But are you glad that it's gone? Do we have a surprise guest?
Yeah.
We have a surprise guest on today's podcast. Oh. It's Cade Raboyne. Hey, Cade. How's it going? Good. Do you want to...
The headphones are...
What would you like to say to everybody today?
Say... I don't know.
You don't know?
And why do I sound like
Why do you sound so tiny?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
What if I sound really tiny too? Is that better?
You sound tiny too now.
You both sound tiny. Are you having a good day?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's better.
Ooh. What do you mean?
Thanks for visiting us. That's definitely going to happen every single time.
Yeah. So
we're talking about...
I just asked you the question of just basically having the stress of towing our house. And so you're talking about that.
It's nerve-wracking. Not so much the stuff that you think would be nerve-wracking, like actually towing and, doing all the technical things. Like that wasn't, like I'm pretty good at towing stuff. Like
You're amazing.
We never got like any crazy situations. Like we never like hit anything or crashed or all this stuff that you think could go wrong.
We were always safe. We were always prepared.
Part of me says like, well, we got lucky that nothing major happened other than a couple of blowouts, tires and stuff.
And of course the bumper.
And the bumper issue, sure, not everybody has to deal with that. But yeah, it's just it's the thought process of like everything we own, like this is our home and it's right behind me on the freeway, and some stuff you can't control, like driving in crazy wind or crazy weather. And it's that thought of like, oh, there's like 1,005 things that can go wrong at any given time, towing or just set up somewhere. There's just constantly in your back of your brain of like, there's like 10 things I got to fix and 10 more things that I think are going to break and 5 more things that did break.
Yeah.
So it is nerve-wracking full-time RVing for sure.
Yeah. And we haven't sworn RV life off forever.
No, I mean that's a con, sure, that's a stress, but the pros are there's so many more as well. Like you get to take your entire home with you when you go somewhere. You can travel to new places and still sleep in your same bed every night. Like we found that out really quick that's such a cool feeling
It is.
to drive all day, super long travel day, and you might be tired from that. You roll up at a new spot and it's like beautiful, great, and then you get set up and it's like, oh, we're home again. We left, but we didn't leave. We didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like our home was constant, even though outside the window changed every time.
And I will just add, I will say that like that was one of my favorite feelings. Most definitely, hands down. Well,
Anyways.
so I was just going to ask you how you like envision us traveling from here on out.
As of right now, I am glad to not be in the RV, and I think that we can still be nomadic, still travel, with the seasons as we, we're not stuck anywhere. We haven't decided where we want to live forever, if there is such a place. So let's just keep moving when we feel like it. So if it happens to be every few months, then that's how often it is.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to visit some more places that we couldn't necessarily take an RV to. We can start doing more international travel, all the stuff where you can't really drive to.
Yeah. Okay, final question
Okay.
for you. What would you say is your biggest takeaway just from the last 2 years of experiences?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that I realize now that we can live a lot more with a lot less. Trading the physical property and the physical belongings for experience and closeness with our boys. Again, good and bad. Like the good outweighs the bad. Like I like being close to my kids. I like being close with you. And I already knew this, but I've realized living in a small space, I have everything I need with just having you guys close by.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with stuff or even the city that we're in or, the yard that we have, the cars that we drive. I just want to be in a room with my family. So regardless of how big that room is or how many rooms there are, like I like it just being close to you guys.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way. I wasn't expecting you to say that. It's beautiful. I love you. Do you want to play a game?
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to play that word salad game that we saw on the Basement Yard podcast?
Yeah.
Because it looks really fun and I've just always wanted to play it.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay, so you explain it because I think you're better at doing that and I need to remember how it's done anyway.
Just think of a word and then 3, 2, 1, say your word. Whatever word we both say, we have to try to
We have to find a connection between those two words and
so it's
say the same.
whatever we're thinking of after hearing the two words, we have to then we say our next word and until they are the same.
Okay,
word.
and then the goal of the game is to say the same word at the
same
same
word,
time.
yes.
Okay. So 3, 2, 1,
Pickle.
moon. Moon and pickle.
Okay.
Wait. Because I need a minute. I need a minute.
Well, you're not supposed to have.
Oh
a
my
minute.
gosh. Okay. Go.
3, 2, 1.
Moonshine.
Cheese and moonshine.
Cheese and moonshine. Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Cow.
Glass.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Milk.
Hey,
We did it.
that's not too hard.
Oh, how many times did that take? I said moon, moonshine, cow, milk. So that was 4.
Under 5 is good, I think.
That was 4. You want to do it again?
Let's do it again.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Saddle
Walmart.
shoe.
Saddle shoe.
Yeah. I'm thinking of those little like black saddle shoes and a little lavender sock.
I said Walmart.
You said Walmart. Walmart and saddle shoe. Oh, go.
3, 2, 1.
Rolling
sail.
back.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Smiley
price
face.
tag. Okay, how do we go from here?
Go.
3, 2, 1. Happy.
Yellow. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Sun.
Smiley. Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Sunglasses. Okay.
Hot. 3, 2, 1.
Summer.
Sunshine. When you're so close, it gets harder for some reason.
Summer and sunshine.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Sun
Sunburn.
rays.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Tan
Sunscreen.
lines. I'm trying.
Okay,
What
go.
would you say?
I said sunscreen. You said tan
lines.
lines. I'm only thinking of one thing right now.
Me too. 3, 2, 1. Tank
SpongeBob.
top.
Okay, go. Keep
3,
going.
2, 1.
Lifeguard.
It's getting weird now.
Okay, holes and SpongeBob. Wait, no. Is that where we
I
ended
wish
up?
it was that.
I said SpongeBob, you said tank top. And then I said lifeguard, you said
Said
holes. Okay, go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Surfboard.
Sand. 3, 2, 1.
Wakeboard.
What you go surfboard and wakeboard for?
Because you said sand. I don't know. I'm thinking closer
Yeah,
to the shore.
Surfboard and sand. You say beach.
Okay. Go.
3, 2, 1.
Umbrella.
Can't even think of it.
Okay, we lost it. We lost it.
We lost it.
We're done. We're done. We're
We're
done.
so close.
We're so
often.
close.
I'm excited for the future for us. I'm excited to do this podcast with you. Mm-hmm. I want people to hopefully get to know us a little bit easier, a little bit better.
Yeah, a lot of
If
bit
we
better.
just keep talking to each other like this.
Yeah, this is the best way that you can get to know us and get to know us as a couple, as individuals, as a family unit.
Yeah.
Because I think
We're definitely not done with the adventures.
No.
We're definitely not done with traveling, with all that stuff.
I feel like we're just getting started. I feel like those first,
For sure.
I feel like not those first years, but those 2 years of doing RV travel was just like the beginning. It was an era.
Yeah.
It was our RV era, and now we're in an era that I don't know yet. I also believe, and I just any excuse to just bring her up because Taylor Swift is the only thing that's on my mind besides you now.
What else is there?
And I just want to say that I believe that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are soulmates.
I mean,
And I think I can prove it.
Okay.
So first of all, they remind me of you and me. And I
True.
think that's all I need to know.
There's soulmate energy there.
Soulmate energy, because I mean, I just know it and I believe it that you are, in fact, my soulmate. If anybody
100%.
goes like, do you believe in soulmates? It's like, yeah, I do. And it's just because I'm getting to experience being the counterpart to someone else's soulmate.
Yeah. If you don't believe in them, you just haven't met yours yet.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, if you know when you know,
Yeah.
you know.
You know?
I know.
So yeah, anytime I see anything related to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, it just reminds me of you and me, which makes me just firmly believe that they're soulmates. And the way that she kissed him,
Oh, dude.
that kiss, I still watch, I think, daily. Do you?
She kissed the hell out of him.
And he just like picked her up. You were the one that you were like, look at her straight legs, because she like came off the ground a
it's
little
like,
bit.
She doesn't get to do that very often. Some of these other guys she's been with,
Ugh.
like, and he's like the perfect, like, for her, like perfect size for her to just go up and like, hold me,
Yeah.
And it's just like, I got you.
And like, I've never felt this way about any sort of, what do you want to call it? Celebrity,
Romance.
Hollywood romance. I've never, ever, ever, let me be clear, never cared, even a little bit. And the fact that I am fully invested, once again, just tells me that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are soulmates. Mark my words.
They're gonna change the world.
Mark my words. Yeah, it just makes me feel good knowing that like other soulmates exist in this world. I think that's what I also love.
Well, I love you,
I love you.
and I love you. Thank you for being here. This is our podcast.
Embrace your adventurous spirit. Cue the outro.
Bye.
Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
All right, I love you.
I love you.